Welcome, listeners. My name is Connie De Groot, and today I have an amazing guest. I am so thrilled. Most of us out there, we have businesses, we have websites, because we all know that people go online to search for products, houses, cars, rugs, everything. But how do we get the traffic to our website? That is the big frustration. That is my own personal frustration, and I am so happy to have the great Randy Eagar, who is going to make all of us much more successful out there on the internet. Let me tell you a little bit about Randy Eagar. Here's just a little bit about his background. He has been in the real estate business for over 30 years. He has gone from a sales agent to a manager to president of one of the largest real estate firms in the Intermountain West. In 1990, he wrote the popular CRS technology course and built a software program called Financial Keys that he later sold to real estate's largest software vendor, Top Producer Software Systems, which I use. His speaking career has taken him to nearly every state in the U.S., plus he has been a featured speaker in Puerto Rico, Canada, Spain, and even in China. Currently, he spends most of his time counseling real estate agents as a search engine optimization specialist, and many of us know that to be SEO. If that isn't enough, he's been a consultant for Fortune 500 companies such as Hewlett-Packard and Apple Computer. And in 2006, he was honored to be the national president of the Council of Residential Specialists. It is my sincere pleasure to welcome to our interview today Randy Eagar. Hi, Randy.
Hello, Connie. It's nice to be with you today.
I am so excited about this. I have a million questions, and a lot of people are going to be sending in questions as well, but we're going to try and get to as many of them as we can today. As we get into our discussion of best website features, I'd first like to ask you a question about the overall impact of the website. When the agent is thinking of either building a website or improving it, what are the major factors that they want to be aware of?
Well, above all is being found. What's the point of having the best website on the planet if nobody knows you're there? SEO, or search engine optimization, is to website marketing as real estate agents are to home and condo marketing. Create your own website without the use of a professional to market it for you makes you a FISBO with your website marketing. And you wonder why you're not getting leads. Now, design can heavily affect the site's success. The reason why a viewer will stay on your website is primarily content, but with a pleasing and professional design, it will force the viewer to look just a little bit longer than they originally would have to see where the content is. This affects the site's success. Now, websites rise or fall depending upon content. If you never show the viewer good content, you've lost them. The content and design must dovetail one with another. The interesting thing is that good content can make up for poor design. If the viewer is engaged in reading compelling content, they won't care what the site looks like. Focus on content first and then build your site around your content. Know what you have to say, then figure out a way to show what you have to say.
How often do you need to add content to the website? Because I think that the search engines are always, looking for that kind of a thing. I mean, do you once a week or once a month or?
Well, Connie, that's an interesting question because the search engines want to see websites that are relevant, and they consider websites that are relevant are websites that are kept current. Now, as to your question, what is current? Well, current is not updating your website once a month. It may be once a week. It may be every other day. But all I can say is the more you change, especially the text on your website, the better that the search engines will like it.
Now, let's say you have a blog on your website, and is that considered a change? Let's say you're not updating any of the other content on your website, but you just have a link to a blog, and that you're doing that weekly. Will that matter, or do you really need to also add things to your actual website and fool with the content or write little articles on there?
Well, you really need to upgrade or update both your website and your blog site. Now, let's understand the difference between the two. A website is upgraded and updated by the search engines about once every 2 to 3 months. On the other hand, your blog site is updated or upgraded and read by these search engines every 2 to 3 hours. Now, if you have your blog site linked to your website, then what's going to happen is the search engines are going to read your blog site every 2 to 3 hours, and then if there's a link to your website, it will go over and read your website every 2 to 3 hours as well. So the more you update that, the better off you're going to be.
Wow. Okay, well, thank you. I will get to work. Thank you very much for that. Let's get on to another question. You know, let's get into the features that are important to building a compelling website. One of the features that I always hear is that we have to have search the MLS, and I have that, of course, on my site. I understand that you've got to have a different spin as to how to use. I understand you have a different spin on how to use this. Can you tell us what that is?
You're right, Connie. The 3 magic words, search the MLS. That's the hot button. At least that's what we think it is. There are 2 problems with this phrase. The first is that many MLSs are no longer allowing agents to use the term on their websites. But more importantly, many prospects think that the term MLS stands for Major League Soccer. However, whichever way you call it, in a recent poll taken by the National Association of Realtors, the #1 area of interest of viewers on your website was to search the MLS or search all properties for sale. Now, buyers want to be able to do their own searches to see what is currently listed for sale. They feel that if they get started with an agent that they don't like, they'll feel obligated to use that agent. And since the average time to search for homes is between 5 to 6 months, this is not a good and lasting relationship for either the buyer or the real estate agent. Now, this is how your prospect is searching for homes. They will just sit back on their couch and look for different websites that have searched the MLS. They're going to go through agent websites in the comfort of their homes, looking for homes that meet their needs. One area of conflict is whether or not to force these agents to sign a contact form or registration form in order to gain access to the MLS data. In most cases I've heard agents say that they feel that this causes buyers to go elsewhere, and others say that this is the only way to get the names and email addresses of their viewers. Now, in my opinion, when you ask the viewer for their information before you show them what benefits you have to offer, it's like putting up a firewall in your valuable information. The best way I can advise you to is to try both ways and just see what works for you. Now, let's take a look at some specific IDX or MLS examples. Since this is such an important part of your website, I thought I'd give you a couple of examples of agents that get it. First of all, this is a website that exhibits most of the features that we'll be talking about today. And these are all the areas where the prospect can identify the MLS. Note that it uses an in-your-face approach to search the MLS. In the upper right-hand corner, we see that we don't even have to click on a Search the MLS button. We can just do a search from the home page. In addition, we can choose to do an advanced search as well. Now, the beauty of this site is in the redundancy of Search the MLS, or in his case, as he calls it, property search. Note how many times he has the same thing that is in the face of the buyer. The question for you is, how easy is it for your buyers to find this crucial tool? Our next website also uses the quick search tool to immediately grab the attention of the viewer. There's no sign in the book, just the ability to immediately search the MLS. However, one of the kings of the MLS search website has to be Kevin Tomlinson out of Miami Beach. Here we find several ways to search the MLS as well as the quick search tool. Everything on this site is subservient to the ability to search the MLS. Note how he even has different categories of searches as well as an interactive map way to show where each condo can be found. By showcasing his search this way, it can be seen that Kevin is also the king of condos for Miami Beach.
Wow. That is, I'm just sitting here trying to absorb everything that you just told me. Okay. Well, I guess I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I have so much work to do on my website, and I just worked on a new website and it's all wrong. So Randy, help me. You're going to have to help me get it right. I appreciate all this information. I'm really taking it in. There's a lot of websites out there, and some are focused on the buyer and some are focused on the seller. Which of these should the agent be focusing their site towards?
That's an easy one. If you think about it, who is the buyer that initiates the transaction? Now, many agents might say you can't have a sale if you don't have a seller and a listing. But as we've seen in this economy, just having a seller and a listing doesn't make the cash register ring. You have to have a buyer. And it's buyers that are looking on the internet for homes. That's why the first thing that I tell people is that they have to have a buyer-friendly website with features that will be compelling to make them want to call or email them.
I have a little question off the subject.
Okay.
In all your research, how important do you think it is to a buyer to select somebody that they feel is, credible in their profession, has been working for a long time? Would that be something, if you won awards, that you would put on your homepage up front? Or do buyers really just at the beginning just only care about what they can find in homes and they're searching? I mean, what is your experience?
Well, I've got a lot of experience on that. I have found, after going over hundreds and hundreds of different websites every month, that I see 95% of agents always seem to put the About Me information on the first page of their splash page of their website. And that's exactly the opposite thing that they should do. What the reason is that the buyer came to that website is to find out information about a community that the agent deals in. So if they get there because they want to know about Denver homes, and as soon as they find that particular person's website, the agent is telling them all about themselves, they have absolutely lost that.
That's a very good point. I guess I'm just disappointed. I'm thinking before I'm going to trust information from somebody I don't know. I mean, I would think I'd want to know a little bit about the person that's giving me the information. But when it comes to home searches, that's on the internet. That makes a lot of sense, Randy.
Yeah.
I know you see a lot of websites, and in our last discussion, you mentioned that you have clients that are making over $100,000 just from their websites.
That's right.
I mean, if you could narrow it down to just one feature, what would you say would be the one that has the most impact and is the most compelling?
The most powerful marketing tool? Drip marketing. It's only natural that we should spend just a little more time on some specifics of drip marketing, as it's so important and is done in many different ways. Many of you think of drip marketing as sending out email notices or newsletters on a regular basis. However, while it's drip marketing that you're doing, it's not the kind of drip marketing that will make your buyers' socks roll up and down. What is most effective is for drip marketing is when you give your potential buyer the ability to fill out a form of their preferences in a new home or condo and notify them of any current listings that meet their needs, or an instant notification when a new listing comes on the market that meets these parameters. Do you think that your prospects would like to know when these new listings come out that meet their particular parameters even before other agents know about them? Well, you bet they do. And by definition, you'll need to get their name, phone number, and email in order to process this information for them. It's a real win-win for our clients that are making consistently over $100,000 just from their website. Every single one of them use this kind of drip marketing to magnify their leads to sales. Let's take a look now at a few sites that put this into play very, very well. Note that our first Indianapolis site actually has two Search the MLS areas, but the one above the other clearly states that you can click here for live email notifications of new listings. That's the hot button. Our next site is one of Barbara Reeves' sites in Mobile, Alabama. Barbara was one of our first agents to get it. She understands what website marketing is all about and is one of our dearest clients. Note how she also uses Get New Listings by Email Daily link. And finally, we have another website that says in a different way, Free Email Home Search. No matter how you say it, you must be in their face with this graphic, button, or link so they don't miss it.
Wow, that is absolutely fascinating, but it makes so much sense, Randy. You know, I've seen a lot more videos come into play for agent websites lately. Do you think that it's time for agents to get more into video? And if so, why?
Well, the first thing that we all need to understand is that the newspaper medium is dead. Video tours are now coming into their own. With faster bandwidth and more common video players and receivers, this is becoming the viewing method of choice. Note how our first example even gives a floor plan of the home and shows which home we are viewing. Click on a different room and you jump to the video of that room. Now, many video programs come packaged with a service of professional voiceovers. These video tours can be done with any video camera, copied to your hard drive, and then posted to the internet. Your videos can now be posted on YouTube, Rever, MySpace, and your own website, blog site, or many other locations. Let me show you how the value of video is in our company. There are so many video tours that we can look at. This particular one is Nashua Video Tours. And instead of taking a look at the video itself because of broadband issues, we're going to take a look at just the snapshot that it will show you of the various rooms within that particular video. Here's another one. This one can be looked at from the aspect of Visual Tour. And Visual Tour is another video tour area that we can take a look at for any listing. It will do panoramas as well as video. It's a wonderful product that agents have been using for years now. Video has come into its own and is here to stay.
Well, I'm sitting here going, as much of the work as I thought at the beginning of this that I had to do with my own website that was brand new, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Randy, I did it all wrong.
And that's typical.
As we're doing this interview, I'm taking notes on what you're saying because it is so important, and I hope that all the listeners will be taking notes and looking at this several times over so that they don't waste money creating a website like I did that really isn't going to target the people that they need to. What about blog sites? I know that these aren't necessarily a part of the website, as I mentioned before, that I have a link on my website that goes to my blog. But how do they come into play for making the website more compelling?
Well, if we look at blog sites, most of them were originally built, as you can see here, with the use of text. Two important things you'll want to make sure that you take advantage of is the use of hypertext that will link your viewer to more information and the use of RSS feeds. The later gives your viewer the ability to subscribe to your blog site so that as you post new ideas and thoughts, these get sent to those who subscribe, just like a newspaper or magazine subscription. Now, let's take it up a notch and see what we can do with sound. Using sound in a blog is called a podcast. Note that these can either be played in a streaming method or can be downloaded for playing on an iPod, computer, or other recording device. The key to using podcasts are to keep them short. If the viewer sees that the podcast is 9 minutes or longer, they may not even play it. 2 to 5 minutes is best. Now, social networking is also taking a major place in website marketing and communication. Note here that with MySpace, you can actually place ads for your listings. While Facebook is more focused on personal use, it also can be used for business purposes. In fact, we have a wonderful product that will allow you to place all your listings in your Facebook account on a See My Listings tab. That product we call our Face product, and you can call us to get it.
Wow, that's amazing. You mentioned earlier on that the search engine optimization was a first step, and that's SEO, to having a successful or compelling website. Why is this? And can't agents optimize their own websites?
Well, of course, agents can optimize their own websites, and many do. They can also build their own website, blog site, and dynamic server. But I don't recommend it. Let me put it succinctly. In one word, outsource. I would tell you this. The top agents are learning how to outsource the most productive things that they can have done to make them money. That's why we have so many clients who make over $100,000 a year just from their websites. That's passive income. Do you know that I had a client that actually called me up last month and was concerned that she only had made $35,000 from her website last year from our services? When we put a pencil to paper, we figured out that she had invested for the year just under $3,400. Do you know what that return on investment is? 100%? No! It's over 1,000% return. And it's a passive income. Your website, like your best employee, works for you. I've got to tell you, Connie, that I've been in the real estate business for over 30 years, and by definition, both you and I get to work with the more high-end, happy and productive agents, or those who get it and understand the value of investing in their careers, and you must have some sort of satisfaction to be able to work with these type of people. As you can see from this particular sketch here, there's all sorts of things that you can do to optimize your website. And you can actually learn these sorts of things, but my particular suggestion is agents should do what they do best. Stick with people, belly to belly, and let the technicians do the rest for them.
What happens if they don't? What happens if they don't? They make $3,000, and I'm sure that in most cases, I mean, people are thinking, you know, come on, I'm going to invest this, and I'm going to make 1,000% or maybe 2,000%. That doesn't make sense when, as you said, most of us, we can't even think of having those kind of returns on our investment, especially these days. So what happens if they don't have success, or that they actually don't do any business?
Well, and that's a great point, because there are so many con artists out there right now that are just sending out emails in mass that say, come join my service because we'll make you all this money, and we'll do all the SEO for you. What you really want to know is, what's your guarantee? And most companies, most SEO companies at least, will not give you a guarantee because it's so nebulous. They just want to say, well, we'll just do you a good job. Trust me, we'll do it. You know, it'll be good. But if you say you can't give me a written guarantee, then you run the other way.
Some of your listeners might not know too much about this, but I have been in what I call SEO hell for the past year, and you know that when I first talked to you. And so I also know that you can get to the first page of a site or a keyword that is not very well traveled, which means there's not going to be as many people going to see it. So there's the one thing that some of your more experienced SEO people might be asking is, well, there's a range there. You could get on the first page of a keyword that there's very few people traveling to. That would be easy. But
That's
what
right.
about, because there are top keywords, not the very top obviously, but there's that middle range that gets a good amount of traffic, and I mean that's a little more challenging to move up in those rankings.
That's right, and the way that we do it is very scientific. The first thing that we do is we will get you found on what's called the long tail approach, which means that we will get you found on that specific keyword phrase. Let's say that it is Denver, Colorado, luxury real estate for sale. That's going to be a fairly easy one to get you found under because not that many people are going to type that specific phrase in.
Right.
But once we get you found there on the first page of Google, then we shorten it. We shorten it to Denver, Colorado, real estate for sale. Then once we get that found on the first page, then we shorten it again. Denver, Colorado, real estate. Then we shorten it again. Denver, real estate. And that is the most competitive keyword phrase in all of Denver.
And Randy, how long do you think that, I mean, you can't give a definite, but approximately, will this take a year to get to that top keyword phrase? Or, I mean, many of the listeners want to know, well, how long is that going to take, so they can calculate how much they're going to have to spend to start, moving up?
And that one depends on where you live. If you live in Podunk, Idaho, and I'm sorry to all those of you who live in Idaho.
Let's just stick with Denver, Colorado. Let's
Okay.
just stick with Denver, Colorado, Randy.
Denver, Colorado is going to be much longer, let's say about 7 or 8 months. And the reason for that is because of the population there. You've got so much more competition there. The smaller the city, the faster you'll be on the first page.
Randy, I know this is the truth because I have done a lot of research over the last year, and I will tell you, a lot of these people that call me and say, I can improve your ranking, they promise some key phrases. It's absolutely not true, and they honestly don't care about keeping your business for a long period of time. They just, even if they have you for a month, it's $300 or $600 or $1,000 or $1,200 for that month. Boom, they're off to the next person.
That's right.
So you have to, this has to be an investment, like we always say in marketing. It has to be a long term, and 7 months or even 12 months for that kind to be on the first page for a very, very traveled search word is really not that much time in my experience.
And the other thing that you want to really make sure that you do, Connie, is find out who can I call that you have as a client right now that will testify to the rankings that you're telling me about.
Yeah, it always goes back to referrals and asking around with people that are happy and that are getting what they really wanted to pay for. So, luckily we have the internet for that. We can go online if we don't know of anybody who has done this. We can go online and we can certainly contact you, and maybe you can send us to some of your previous clients and we can contact them as well, right?
That's right. In fact, what's interesting is if you go to Google and you type in real estate website positioning, you're going to find that WebsTarget and Computer Camp, which are two of our companies, are 4 of the top 6 rankings out of 6 million people that are trying to get there.
That is a big accomplishment. Randy, this has been so enlightening. With all the excellent websites you showed, I was wondering if you could send our audience the domain names if they emailed you.
Absolutely. Anybody that emails me, and that's Randy at webstarget.com, or even just look down at the bottom of the screen there, sales@webstarget.com. I would be happy to send you every screenshot that we had and every domain name that I think that you'd like to see, and more.
Great. Thank you so much, Randy. Oh, you're going to be my hero. and you're going to save a whole lot of us from wasting money, and you're going to, more importantly, we're going to start making money because of you. Thank you so much, Randy. Now let's open everything up to answer some questions. I'd like to start with Sarah, and she said that she has heard that Google has recently changed the way they rank their websites. Is this true? And what has changed?
Yes. On June the 8th, Google announced their new algorithm. And an algorithm is the way that Google calculates how they're going to put a website on the first, second, third position of their pages. And what this whole new situation is called is Google Caffeine. And it is basically a 3-step modification. The most important thing that they look at now is the domain name, and that is the name of your website. So if your website is called sallysmith.com, then Google is going to assume that your website is all about Sally Smith.
Sally Smith.
Right. But if it's called denverrealestate.com or denverluxurycondos.com, then it's going to say, hey, maybe this website is all about Denver luxury condos, and it's going to rank you higher if that's what you want to be ranked on.
Right.
Now, the second part of Google Caffeine is the title, and that is the thing that's at the very top of the browser, and it is the thing that basically says, here's what my website is all about. It's like having a sign outside of a building, and it says Joe's Restaurant or Mark's Auto Mechanics. You know, you're going to know what's inside the building just by looking at that title. It's the same thing that Google's going to do with the title of your website. Now, the most important change and the biggest change is with the content of your website. And that is the text that Google reads on the home page and the other pages of your website. It's going to look to see, is it congruent with your title and your domain name? And if your domain name says marysmith.com and your title says we sell homes and your text says Mary is the best agent in all of this valley, and she's got all these awards and so forth, you're not being congruent. You're all over the place. So Google is not going to know where to put you.
Wow. Uh-oh. I'm in trouble. Oh, my gosh. Oh, no. Okay, Randy, we really need to start working on me, and I'm sure that a lot of people are going, no, because most of us write, juliesmith.com, and I have my website says ConnieDeGroot.com. That kills that. Now, I also have another domain. It's called ConnieTheRealtor.com. That's a little better, right?
Well, it is, but I'll tell you something. ConnieDeGroot.com can be fixed, and in 3 simple steps. And those simple steps are these. Now, let me just mention them quickly because everybody has got their website in their name. And the reason is, and I hate to say it, because people like me told you to do that 5 years ago. Now, here's what you do. First step is this. You go to GoDaddy.com or wherever you buy your domain names, and you buy what's called a keyword-rich domain name.
Keyword-rich?
Keyword-rich. That means you're going to buy something like DenverLuxuryHomes.com or MyDenverLuxuryHomes.com. And the reason why I like GoDaddy is because they'll give you hints and aids as to available domain names that are similar to the one you want.
Okay.
Now, once you've got that, what we call a keyword-rich domain name, then what you do is you move, not copy. you move your entire website to that new domain name. Then what you do is you call your ISP, Internet Service Provider, and you tell them, I have moved my website to this new address. So when the next person types in ConnieDeGroot.com, send them immediately over to this new website. So now you got the best of both worlds. You've got the human factor that's going to type in ConnieDeGroot.com, and they'll immediately see your website, but you'll have the search engines that are scouring the internet, and they'll see DenverRealEstate.com or DenverLuxuryCondos.com or whatever it is that you choose, and they'll see the website under that, and you'll get much more credit for that.
Okay, so is that kind of like pointing it, like you have all these domains and you can all point them in the direction of...
It's called a redirector, right. Redirector or a pointer.
Okay.
Let me just give you one more hint, and that is when you do a redirector like this, make sure that it is a 301 redirector. That tells Google it's a permanent redirector instead of a temporary redirector.
A 301 redirector.
Right.
Everybody listening, are you writing this down? Because as I'm talking, I am writing all this stuff down. This is so fabulous. I've got all my bunches of notes. This is thrilling. I don't know if we have, I think we have time for a couple more questions. Let's see. Dan the man. Where can I turn to if my website designer doesn't offer drip marketing? Earlier in the conversation you were talking about drip marketing. Oh yeah. What can Dan do?
Well, there's three separate things that you can do, and first of all is if the website vendor or the website designer, if they have as part of their package this drip marketing, then that's obviously the easiest way to go. But we're assuming, Dan, that you don't have that. If they don't, then go to the MLS. If your MLS vendor has a fairly sophisticated system, they typically, especially larger MLSs, they will typically have what's called a widget, which you can put right on your website that will do drip marketing. And again, that's what most MLS versions have. MLS companies will have this for you. Now, let's say that you don't even have that. The third way that you can get it is you can Google it on the internet, and just Google it just by saying drip marketing, real estate drip marketing, and just do it in Google. There are many third-party companies that will do this for you.
Okay, that sounds good. Dan, I hope that was satisfactory to you. If not, you just need to send Randy Eagar an email. Let's get one more question in. Oh, there's so many. Let's see. Okay, now a lot of people are getting into video. I just saw somebody that shot a video going, explaining a whole house. Randy, not everybody is good on camera. I would like to just say that if you're not real, if you don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, if your presentation, if you don't think that you're going to do a great job visually, then you might want to start looking for somebody else, perhaps maybe, your friend or someone in your office that can maybe speak on your behalf. That is just a little personal point I'd like to throw out there. But for those people that are doing video and fully into that, and they have their own YouTube station and everything, they're looking at buying new cameras. I just bought one, and they don't have to cost the high definition cameras are very expensive. They're well over $1,000, but you can get, for a couple $100 a nice camera. Randy, do you really need to invest in those HD, capable cameras, or can you get by with something for a couple $100?
Oh, absolutely not. You do not need the full-blown HD cameras unless you want to use them for your vacations and all the other things that you might use a video camera for. Keep in mind that if you're going to be using video for your websites or for showcasing those properties on web tours, then it's going to be compressed down to a very low resolution anyway, which means that if you take a high resolution video, it's still going to have to be compressed down to low resolution to be able to fit on your website. So I would look at getting just the cheapest camera you can that will do the job.
Great. I mean, that's excellent advice. I mean, really, unless you're going to, edit these videos and show them on your big screen TV, you really can get by with a cheaper camera, and they're light, they're easy to operate. So that's awesome. One other question. A lot of us get very busy. We're told by our companies, our managers, that we're supposed to be on Facebook and I don't know, all these different sites, but most of my colleagues keep, we talk about, yeah, are you making money off of this? And of course there's somebody making money somewhere, but really there's just a lot of wasted time chatting with a whole bunch of these people. They're, is this social media stuff, is it really worth it? And how much time would you allocate towards it? Or how do you think we should go about doing it so that we're actually making money? Because time is money.
Well, that's true, and there's a lot of people that are making just a ton of money with social media, but they're doing it the right way. And there's even more people that are spending almost all day on social media and they're not making a dime. And that's the real tragedy. The thing that you asked, I believe, earlier was how much time do you need to spend on social media? And the answer is 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, period. Okay.
Well, so that means we're not going to say, hey, I'm just coming into the restaurant, I bought a nice pair of shoes. We're not going to do any of that stuff. So what is it? What are you going to do with those 15 minutes? Give me an example. What are those successful people doing?
Okay, first of all, what I like to do is I like to set up on Facebook my business page. You can have your own personal page, as most people do right now, but you can set up a business page. And on that business page, you can put your listings, you can put your open houses, you can put the fact that you're going out on a listing presentation, and just quickly put that up. Now, you can also put up on your Facebook the fact that you're going out on a listing presentation too, but you just shouldn't overburden the fact that all of your information on Facebook is all business. Now, Twitter's another great example. You can hook your Twitter to your Facebook, which also hooks to your MySpace, which also hooks to YouTube, so that when you tweet, it'll automatically go to your Facebook. Or when you do something on YouTube, it'll automatically get posted to your Facebook. And those are the types of things. Yeah, that's the type of thing that we're talking about, and 15 minutes is all you need to take.
Big time saver. So when you set up your Facebook business page, if you're putting all that business stuff there, then I mean if somebody goes there, obviously that's what they're interested in. But in your personal page, yes, people are going to get bored. I don't even have realtors. I'm not friends with any real estate agents because they post all these listings and it just people just get tired of it, and they're not going there to be sold something.
And you are the queen.
So those are two independent pages, right?
That's right, and you are the queen of real estate in Beverly Hills. So, people would want to be with you. I mean, they would want to be friends with you. But I think you're smart in keeping the two separate.
Yeah. Well, if anybody would like to contact me, I work all of Los Angeles, and they can find me at ConnieDeGroot.com, or they can call me at 310-913-1184. Randy, this has been such a pleasure. I could go on and on and on. I'm so excited, and the questions keep coming. Thank you so much for this wonderful hour.
You are so welcome. And as I understand it, you've got another Fox interview to do right after this, don't you?
Yes, I will be on with Jerry Willis on the Fox Business Station, which Pacific Standard Time will air. I'll be on about 2:30 today, and I think it replays a couple hours later. And it's a national show, so it'll be 3 hours later on the East Coast, if that's where you are.
Well, this has been my pleasure then.
It's been a great hour for both of us, and let's do it again soon.
Okay, great, Connie. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.